Hi folks, welcome again. I am Divyansh and I'll be facilitating this session for you guys along with the host Heath Gandhi. Once again, welcome to GDSC's Folding Up Post Camp. I feel so excited to see the number of folks who are willing to learn about Android development. Please bear with us for this short 2-minute intro about the session and the speakers. You must be acquainted with Ashish and Ritek by now, but this is the first session by Mr. Hardik Srivastava. So I'll just brief you with his quick intro. Hardik Bhaiya has a very rich experience in Android development and is currently the front-end intern at Headout. He formerly interned at IIT Kanpur and TechBurner and also headed GDSC MUJs in the past. His major skills include Android development, web development, and some niche subjects related to data science. Today's hands-on session will be started by Ritik, followed by Ashish with his quick trivia quiz, and then continued by Hardik Bhai on important concepts of Kotlin. Buckle up, let's get started, and we hope that this session is worth your time. You can always unmute and put your doubts in the chat. That's it for the intro, guys. You can take it up from here. Go ahead.
So, hello everyone. Myself Ritek Rounak, and I will be taking the first half of the session to this session of the Compose Camp Boot Camp. So, in the last session, we have learned basics of Kotlin. So, I hope you have gone through some docs and practice it by yourself. Just a second. I think so. Is my cam visible? Yes. Okay. So, let me share my screen. Know when my screen is visible.
Go ahead,
Is it?
Ritik.
Yeah. Let quickly recap what was the topic told in the last session. So we majorly talked about the Kotlin fundamentals that are from using the print statement, print ln statement to the basic making of the functions and passing the variables. So this is just a quick recap. So for printing the message, we can use the print ln keyword and print. The difference is that print ln adds a new line character that is the thing that we are printing after the print ln it would be coming in the next line. So after that we followed by declaring the variables, that is by using the keyword var and val. That val cannot be changed in the further program code, so we prefer using the var code if we need to uh, var variable if we need to change the value of the code. So Kotlin supports five data type, that is int, boolean, double, char, and string. So after that we have make a function that is printing the greater of the two numbers. That is by using the if else condition. This is same in every programming languages. We use the if and then condition block, and then we write the code block that we need to execute. So after that we have used the when statement, that is similar as the switch condition in the other program language. That is we have used color variable, that if color is red then print this color, if it's green then print this, if it's blue then print this, or else it is nothing, then we can print color not found. So after that we have taken a look in the loops and ranges, that is by using this for loop, that items in items, if we have array list of, that is Android study jams or something like that. And then for printing the numbers from 1 to 10, and then print I, so it will print the value of I. here one right, you can use this that is step 2. Just a second. And for down we can use down to and then step. So so yeah. S- then we have made the function is is it visible? Functions that we can make a function or user defined function by using the keyword fun, that is fun, and then write the name of the function, that is find sum, and pass the uh, values that we are passing from this main function, that is x and y. We are receiving as a integer and b integer, and then we are calculating the sum equals to a plus b, and then printing the sum. We can write this also by written. We can have the return type also, that it will return the sum, and here sum will be assigned to a variable, that is sum also, and we are printing that. So after that, let us look how we can complete the web uh, course, that is of the Kotlin fundamentals. So if you are aware of the course, that is the Android basics with the compose, there is the part unit 2, that is app with UI with Kotlin. And this one let us perform. Just a second. Yep. Yep. In the first part that we can see, there is an Kotlin fundamental video that is optional. You can watch it. It's an YouTube video, and you can refer this anytime, or we can skip that. So let's move on the second part, that is write conditionals in Kotlin. So let me click on the take code lab. So yeah, so it would start from this write conditionals in Kotlin. So we have already learned about the if and else statements, and we have written when also. So here is a quick uh, overview what you will be learning in this code lab. So let me move forward. So it is explaining what if else condition statements look like, that if it is true it will execute this one, or if it's false then it will execute this one. So here is the expression of how we write the if else condition, that is if, then condition, then braces, then body. So after that we can, let's move. So here is the simple if else condition, if condition, that is if traffic light color equals to red, then it will execute this. Here you can see it will execute print stop. So let's move forward. So if we have multiple statements or condition that needs to be checked, we prefer using the switch. in other programming languages, but in Kotlin that is when. So we would be using when if we have different types of condition to be checked, and according to that some code to be executed. So for that we are using the when statement, and when statement um, syntax is that we write when brackets and the parameter that we are checking, then we have the braces, then we have the condition, that is condition, and then arrow operator, and then the code that is to be executed after this condition has been true. So this is on, let me just, yeah. So here is a example that is we are declaring a variable that is traffic light color, that is yellow, and we are checking that if it's in the range of this or matches the condition. So traffic light is checking the parameter that is passing, and if it's red it will print stop. So here it is the value given yellow, so I think this one would be executed, that is println slow, so slow would be printed out, that is here. So this was the basic of the when statement. Let's move forward. Then we can have the if else tree, that is if else if else if, that is if else if and then else. If we can write this also, but this takes some longer time to be executed in the further time part. So this is the same. Then we have finished the conditional statements in Kotlin. So let me turn. After that, we can see the nullability in Kotlin. So yeah, this is a small topic where we are checking just the value if it's null or not. If it's null, then how to handle that expression, or if it's not null, then how to execute the further program. So yeah, so we have assigned a variable that is favorite character, and we have assigned the this declare this value to this, and we are checking if it's null or not. So here it is given equals to null, so println, that is it printing the same null. So yeah, if we try to be to move a value that is this favorite character and assign it to be null, that is it's having a value already, so it would be given an error message that is null cannot be a value of non-null string type, that is the string variable declared need to be a given value, so it should not be a null character. So yeah, it is checking this only. So let me just end up this. So then we can check out the uses and classes in the objects. Got it. Just so yeah, we can have a look what we are learning from this topic, that is Kotlin classes. We are making the classes in Kotlin. This has the same structure like in other programming languages. We have the keyword that is class, then name of the class, and then we define all the characters and in the body tag. That is, let me move forward. Yeah. So here we are defining a class that is smart device, and we are making a function that is turn on, that it will print smart devices turned on, and other function is turned off, that is smart devices turn off printing. So this we can call an object, we can call a method or function by using this key, this syntax, that is class object dot method name dot bracket, then the we are, if we are passing the arguments or parameter, we can put it here, or leave as, that is smart TV device dot turn on and brackets. So it is calling the function turn on. So you can see that this is a pretty much small and an overview. This is almost pretty similar to other programming language that you have done, and you can, after that you can try this challenge also. Let me quickly finish this up, and this is same function, writing the functions. So let me open this all in the new tab. So here we can see how to write a function. So here is an optional video you can watch or can view. So this is the, we are creating a function by using the fun and then trick function name and no treats it's printing. So this is same variable. We can have a parameter, that is we can pass some arguments to this and can return a value from there. This is same. So we have used the repeat statement also for executing the code for number of times that we need to be executed. So this, yeah, here it is executing treat function for 4 times by using this keyword repeat. So yeah, this is pretty much the functions and the lambda expression. Let us so here is the final module, that is Kotlin fundamentals, and you can see all the code or the all the functions that we have learned to be merged in this. So we can have this like a function that is ticket price and printing all the values. Then we can see if it's having the if else condition also. Classes, person, phone. So this, yeah, this is checking for the values. Yep. So here we can see it has the if else condition, that is print notification summary number of how many messages you received. So it will check if the number is under 100, then you have the number of notification, else your phone is blowing up, you have 99 plus notifications printed. So this is the, so in the final we have a quiz in this, that is for completing or getting the batch you need to uh, for give this quiz, that is take. So here you can see all the pretty much same, what is, which of the following conditions are to be satisfied when x equals to 5, then you can see that is x equals to 5 or something like that. You can complete this and can get this one batch. So you need to complete I think so, how many batches you need to complete? Just a 3 batches and or 4. You will earn all these batches after giving the quiz. So yeah, this is pretty much for the Kotlin fundamentals. Let us, so yeah, for moving on forward, we will be building a simple app in Kotlin basics, just an hello world app, and then we would be making an app that will print something on your, or make a given message or notification from the app by clicking on the button. So let us move on forward. So for building the app, Android app, you need to be you need to have the Android Studio installed and up running, and you need to have the Android SDK versions ready, and an uh, Android device, or an you can use the Android emulator for running the application or debugging this. So you can download the Android Studio from the Android Studio official website. So let me just paste this link. So yeah, after downloading, you can set up your Android Studio as you like to be configured in the theme and the other settings. So you can install the Android virtual device or can use your Android phone for executing the app or debugging it. So let us start developing the app. So let me fire up this Android Studio and new project. So yeah, you would be if you start the Android Studio and create a new project, you would be greeting with this type of interface. That is which type of layout you would be needing for building the app. So you can browse some of the predefined code. That is, if you want a basic activity with this network drawer and other things, you can use this, or we can use this also empty compose. We will be using this after the this app. You can, if you want to have an Google Maps activity, you can use this. So for now we are using a blank activity that is empty. Click on the next. So here you can rename your app anything you want to. My let me my first app. So here you can see there is a package name. So this package name would be like com dot company name, or the organization for you are building apps. This not depends for now. You can pretty much change. Or here comes the app name. That is my first app. Then the location where you are saving the app, and the language we are using the Kotlin. And here is the minimum SDK that we need. So you can choose a minimum SDK to be running for the apps to be run on all devices supported. Like if you are targeting the API level 21, that is 5.0 Lollipop, your app would be compatible with all the platforms that is above this. So yeah, so we are using the 5 point and hit finish. Then you would be greeted with this type of screen. So I've already done this because it takes lots of time for the Gradle to be downloaded and to be installed. So you would require some time, and then you would be greeted with this type of interface. So let me just give an overview. What is this? Yeah. So basically, just full screen. So yeah, the layout of the Android Studio looks like this. So in the left, you can see this is a project window where you can see all the project files and other resources file, and the other files or the resources that we are inserting an image or other things files. You can see this on the left side. Then uh, we are building in the Kotlin, and we have the design layout click. So we would be getting this type of window in the right. That is, we would be getting a second, that is palette. So we here it is already predefined some code where you can just drag and drop these on the screen, and it is ready to be used. So here third is the component tree. That is how layer or which components or which uh, button or text view is above which. You can see here that is text view. We have already, just a second, if I so yeah, so here it is the text view already put in there. If we try to just drag and just add a button, so yeah, here the button is given. And if we add an const, let me fix this. So yeah, its button is mentioned in here. So after that, we have the fourth, that is design view. That is here we can design or drag and drop anything that we want from the palette, and resize its value from this panel, that is the attribute section. We can have all the values edited, that is from the width, height, and positioning also. So let us first explore the palette section, what all things we got on this. So here it is the tab that is common. Here we have the all the common used views, that is text view, button, image view, recycler view, fragment. After that, if we want text, particularly text, that we can use a password and we can drag and drop. So here comes the password input field, and if we want to input a phone number, then we can drag and drop this phone number one. And if we want to input a date, we can also drag and drop this one. So let me move forward. So yeah, if we want a button, then we have already used this button. Or if we want this type of uh, a checkbox type, so we can have this a widget. We can have a web view, that is if we want to render a website in our app, you can use this and give an URL, it would be rendering the website inside this app. So after that, we have other constraints, containers. So you can explore pretty much all the things by drag and drop here and can run the file. So let me just clear up. Yes, so let me just zoom. So here you can see we have the word written, that is hello world. And for the writing or renaming this, we can use this split split view, and we can see here is the code of this screen, that is the hello world screen. So it is written here, the text, that is the hello world. If we hello GDSC, if we write this, this should be here. So we can compile this app by just putting your phone in the debugger mode, and then we can connect the phone, or you can use the emulator and it would pop up here the phone device that you are using. So let me just on my phone, just a second. So here you can see the Gradle is building, so it's build up the app and would compile. Let me just build up section. So uh, meanwhile, let me just share my app phone screen also. So in the meanwhile that the app is compiling, let us check what is user interface. So the user interface is the part UI. The UI is the part where the user interacts in your app. That is like this. We have the title, that is my article, and then we have the heading, that is this in the other languages. Then we have the paragraph written. So in the other form, we can have just an image, or like you can imagine your gallery app, that is containing of the image view, that is all the images are listed here. So layout of an app isn't design or the arrangement of what the user sees. uh, on the screen. And in Android, layout is made up of views, and you can see that the layout is this one, that is it's same as in the phone and a tablet, and the view is this the things that are rendering off. So in the Android or the Kotlin, we have the basic three views, that is text view, image view, and button. So we can have the text written by using the text view. We can showcase an image, or can have an image button also by image views, and button we have for sending a data or entering something. So that's how it should be. Taking much time. So let us wait for a minute. So in the meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can always drop in the chat box, so we can look forward to it. It's a screen. So आगे ऐप भी हो जानी चाहिए. So yeah, I think so. App has been compiled and it's been installing. So yeah, so we have an app that is printing and text, that is hello GDSC here. So if we just edit this one, campus compose cam, just rerun the app, we can see the changes. So yeah, here it is again, that is hello campus compose bootcamp. So so this wasn't pretty much a basic app for printing a just a text message on a hello message. So let us move forward and let us make an app with a button that print that notifies or print a toast message often the message we are writing. So let me quickly minimize these also, and let's move in the design view. Let me just delete this one, and we would be using the button view, and we would be placing the button here. I think so it's hanging. Okay, so now let us leave this part I think Hardik Bhaiya would be explaining much better than me. And so we have a quiz for you all guys. So I think Ashish would be taking off from here.
Okay, guys, so let's get started with the quiz. So I'm sharing my screen. You guys can go to slido.com and enter this code 43447 or 4402, or you can scan this QR code as well in such a way to attend the quiz. This quiz is based on like previous examples, which is told by me and Ritek. So you guys can also check it out. You can join the quiz. Either scan this QR code or go to slido.com and enter this code. Guys, join. Hurry up. We have another session of Hardik Bhai after that. Come on, guys, join this link. Either scan this QR code or go to slido.com and input this number as pin 3447402. Okay, so let's get started with a quiz. So here it comes, the first question. A variable can be set dash to indicate that it holds no value. So out of which of one is the most true? 1, null, 2, and 3. So let's check it out. How many of you are correct? A variable can be set dash to indicate that it holds no value. 1, null, 2, and 3. So let's see. Oh, null. Nice. Okay. All of you are correct. So let's move on to next question. So Aditya, Hardik, and Vasu, all of them were correct. So next question. Create a button with dash composable text, image, button, and font, as it was told by Ritek as well in the last session and in this session as well. So let's see how many of you are correct. Text, image, button, and font. Okay, so let's see. Okay, sad. Text by 33% and button by 67%. So button is correct answer. And Hardik Bhaiya and Vasu Vasti were correct. So next. Alignment dot centers UI component both horizontal and vertically. Is it true or false? Alignment dot centers UI component both horizontally and vertically. Is it true or false? So let's see how many of you are correct and how many of you are wrong. Okay, so all of them are true. So let's see the correct answer. Okay, nice. Good one. Hardik, Vasu, Avasti, and Aditya. Okay, good enough. So left next question. Debugger allows you to inspect variable when the code execution has been suspended. Is it true or false? So let's see. Those who are in lobby, you can either go to slide.com and enter this pin, or you can also scan this QR code in such a way to enter in this quiz. So let's see. Okay. True and false. 57% were given the value true and 33% false. So let's see. True is the correct answer. Hardik, Hardik by 30 seconds, 4 out of 4. Aditya, 3 out of 4, 27. Vasuvasti, 3 out of 4, 42 seconds. So let's move on to next question, which is second last question in this quiz. The dash debugger features allow you to navigate back up the call stack. Step over, step out, step into, and step into. Okay. Okay, my bad. Step over, step out, and step into. So let's see which one is correct. Okay. Okay, good enough. Step over all of then let's see which of those is correct. Step over is the correct answer and step out and step two are wrong. So let's see how many of you. Okay, Aditya, you are on the top with 37 seconds with 4 out of 5 is correct. Hardik Bhaiya, you are on 4 by 5 with 49 seconds. Vasuvasti. Okay, so let's move on to the last question of this trivia quiz. Initial composition is the creation of the UI composed when it executes dash function the first time. Random, important, composable, and exclusive. So let's see which of who's won this quiz. Random, important, composable, and exclusive. Okay, so composable, 100 all of you think correct given correct answer. So let's see, Aditya, you won. Congratulations. You won this quiz with 5 out of 6 were correct with 42 seconds. Hardik, you got 5 out of 6 in 5 seconds, and Basuvasti 4 out of 6 in 1 minute 10 seconds. And Hardik's question in this is like allows you to navigate in which question. In this question, all of you doing a separate answer. So now I would like to invite Hardik Bhaiya to continue this session. Hardik Bhaiya.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, Bhaiya, you are audible. You can take it session from now. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'll quickly start sharing my screen. By the way, that step out and step over question was pretty nice. I think I still need to learn a lot of new things, which I'm keep adding.
Thank you. Yeah.
Let me just quickly share my screen. Just yep. I hope it is visible now.
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. Right. So Ritek and Ashish, they went through the Kotlin basics, and Ritek actually demonstrated how we, really make Android apps, production level Android apps using the Android Studio and design the UI and writing the logic. Now, what Ritik showed has been the traditional approach for designing the user interface and adding the logic and doing everything. That was the drag and drop thing. Now, for Jetpack Compose is actually a new thing which is being developed by Google, and it is a type of a framework that we call as declarative user interface. So instead of doing any sort of dragging and dropping or creating our layouts in a separate language, that is XML in our case, we define everything in a single file or actually in a single language. That is going to be Kotlin in our case. Now, in order to, so what I'll do is that I will make a very simple application that is going to like take some user inputs and it will send those inputs to a new screen wherein we will display those inputs. So essentially, it is going to be like a greeting generator. So what I'll do is like I'll go to new project, then I will select to choose an empty compose activity since will be using Jetpack Compose for this. Then I will double click on it and right here I will just name it something like greeting generator. Then package name, as Ritek mentioned, it could be anything. It could be your company's name, it could be your name, it could be your domain name or whatever you want. Then the save location is going to be my Android Studio projects folder. And for the minimum SDK, since my device is running Android 13, that is the recent version of Android, I can get away with using Android 12 as my minimum SDK. But if you are developing on a device that could be possibly using Android 11 or Android 10, then you will have to, accordingly choose your minimum SDK, whichever you want. So I will just go with Android 12.0. I'll hit finish, and let's wait for this project to load. In the meanwhile, I will also start my emulator so I can actually show you what we'll be building. This should be load. Yeah, let me just adjust that. Yep. Remove. Yep. So let's just wait for this to load. I will just increase my font size a bit. Uh, Come on. Then this will be editor font. I'll make it 16. Right. So yeah. No. Yeah. So this is the application which we would be building. It has two input fields. One is title greeting, one is title name. Now in the greetings parameter, I can type in something like happy birthday. And then the name, I can put in any name which I want. I will just type GDSC. And then when I will press the generate greeting button, what it will do is it will launch a new screen, and it will send those values to this new screen, and it will display those values here. So the application or the code is going to be pretty simple. The UI is pretty simple. The functioning is going to be very simple. But this will like cover a lot of different concepts which we need to get started with. That would be building a simple user interface using Compose. That would be to taking inputs from the user in Compose. That would be handling the navigation, and also like having multiple screens in our app. Right. So, but before like I get on to this, I'll just run our sample project right here as it is. This will show you what you will get whenever you will, create a new compose project. So let's just wait for this to load up. Yeah. So now this is launched, and as you can see, it just says hello Android. This is the hello world equivalent for your new compose projects. So one thing which in Android Studio you can do is that, like right here, if you'll notice, is that this is a function that is tagged with @preview, and there is like a small button right here. So what you can do is like instead of actually loading or developing like the whole application, you can click on this in order to just display this particular composable function on the Android emulator or whatever Android device you might be connected to. So if I would click on this right here, let's see what it would show. So this showed hello Android again. Right. So if I would possibly like change this to something like Google Developer Student Club. Now, if I will press on this, it would run my default preview, and we would be getting hello Google Developer Student Club. Now, again, just to differentiate, if I would go here and I will choose app instead of default preview, and I would hit run again, it will show hello Android, because default preview is just going to help us out in debugging and like just testing out whatever user interface which we are going to develop. Uh, just so that like every time we launch an app, we do not have to like like navigate to that particular screen, check if everything is working fine or not. Now, apart from apart from this, there is also these three buttons right here. One is code, one is split, and one is design. So if I will go to design, you will quickly see a preview of whatever UI we are going to develop. So, but this is only going to show the preview. So what I can do is like I can click on split button, and this will give me a side by side view of whatever code I'm writing, along with what how it would look on the device itself. Now, this is actually being generated from here. So if I would change here like something like let's type in Google, so accordingly it will change the view as well. I can zoom in and zoom out according to what my need is. Right. So I can have something like test. Right. So it will show hello test. Now, One thing which I can also do is that I can actually modify these preview parameters so that we can have a better reference view here. So for that, what I can do is like we already have a show background boolean or parameter here. I can add device equal to, and so the Android Studio actually comes in a lot of different device specifications inbuilt. You can actually see them when you will go to device manager and go to create device. Here there are like a lot of different devices which are already present. That is Pixel XL, Pixel 6 Pro, Pixel 6, Pixel 5, Pixel 4a, and different like standard devices, small devices, etc. So what I'll do is I will specify my device as something like, let's say, the Pixel 4 XL, right? So the next time, so now this whole UI is actually being displayed with reference to how it would look on a Pixel 4 XL. But again, this is only showing our composable. So what I can also write here is I can write show system UI equal to true, and then it will actually start rendering out everything from our emulator. So this is a pretty standard display as to, and we can actually get a much better idea as to how it would be looking on our actual emulator right here, which is open here, right? So let's start off. So now, like this was just to demonstrate how the preview function works. Let's just go ahead with the main activity code which you have right here. So on top, this is our package name. So package name is the project name plus whatever file you would be having, whatever module you would be creating later. Then these are the import statements. These are required by default here for all of these things to function. Then we have our class that is going to be a main activity. And this main activity class is actually extending an existing class that is called component activity. Now, activities in Android, if I would put it into layman terms, are going to be basically screens, which the user would be seeing. So this right here, this white block is actually a screen which the user is seeing, which I am seeing, which you guys are seeing. And this is actually an activity. And every user interface component which we would be designing, developing, and which we would be also interacting with, is going to live inside this activity, right? Okay. Now, so the how activity works internally is actually a bit technical thing to know, but and there are some functions which you would need to take care of. By default, there is this particular line right there, which is override one on create. Right. So the on create is actually a function that is being overridden for us in the sample code, and this is actually a place where would be like writing whatever code we want to in order to execute or design as you want. So what you can think of is like onCreate is actually very similar to like the main function in your typical Java or Kotlin programs. Even if you are doing any other programming language, there is typically a main function that serves as an entry point. So you can think of onCreate as an entry point for your application for this particular activity. But there is actually a whole life cycle that lives behind this activity, which I have open right here. So by life cycle, what I mean to say is that whenever an activity is created, or like whenever the user needs to see something, or whenever we want to show the user something on the screen, there is actually a lot of different methods which are being called internally. Now, for us, most of the time on like adding our things to on create is actually enough. But in some cases, you might need to ensure that something is done beforehand, something is done after your UI is displayed. So for that, we can like override more functions according to our use case. And for those of you who might not be getting just what override is, so override typically means that this onCreate function exists in the component activity, and we are just going to write our logic inside this function as to whatever we want to do. And the super.onCreate would mean that first of all, it will call the default function, the inbuilt function of our component activity, and after that, we would be executing whatever code we want to write or design or whatever I use case, right? So then inside, so set content is the function that is going to ensure that the UI is displayed. Then greetings generator theme is a default theme which the Android Studio project gives us. We won't be going into customizing theme as of now, but you can customize a lot of the things like colors, font size, default font, etc. by modifying the theme your app has. Then surface is going to be this white surface which you are seeing right here, and there is a modifier for it. So the modifier dot fill max size is actually telling this whole surface to take up whatever screen space there is, and the color is just like defining like a typical white background color. This background color can be changed accordingly, but for us it is going to be white because white is the typical background color we usually use. And inside this is our greeting function that is actually a composable. Now, this is where we would be, defining our user interface as to whatever thing we would be doing or as to whatever logic we need to have. And this is going to serve as the entry point for our user interface building. Okay, so I will move the emulator to a different screen for now so that we can just focus on the UI part. Right. So by default, we have a composable functions that is titled as greeting. Now this composable function is so this tag composable is actually telling the Android Studio editor that okay, this function is going to generate some form of user interface. We can also have a typical functions like let's say add num1 that would be an integer, num2 that would be an integer, and like these functions would return an integer. Right here we can just like do num1 plus num2. So we can also have like regular Kotlin functions here with whatever return type we want to have. But if we are going to tag any function with the composable annotation, this would mean that that function is only and only going to be used in order to generate a user interface. Right. So this is actually what the greeting function is doing here. So if I would change this hello part right here, I can change this to wow. And now if I would run my project, I'll just hit build and refresh. It it is already showing wow here, right? So this function, so this is our composable functions, which the code is going to be structured in a similar manner, like it would take parameters and everything. But the only difference that would be that instead of doing any like logic part or handling any logic inside it, we would just be declaring our user interface, right? So just a second. Right. Yeah. So now let me show you the user interface again, which we would be developing. This was the project, right? So this is, if you will notice, these are like four different UI elements. There is like one text which is saying greetings generator. There is an input box that is saying greeting. There is another input field that is going to say name. Then there is a button called generate greeting. Now this does not have any padding inside it. I just created it very quickly inside like a column element, but I will also be adding some padding and we would make it look a bit better than this. Right. So what I'll do is that I will make a new composable function. Let's say a main screen. So the main screen is going to be where we would be, try taking the inputs and having this button. So right here, let's add main screen button. It will not take any parameters inside it because like since this is our main screen and it is going to be the entry point, we do not require any input values. We will obviously annotate it with the composable tag. So now Android Studio knows that this is going to generate a user interface. And what I will also do is that I will comment out the greetings line and I will have our main screen right here. So now if I would do build and refresh, this would just be an empty screen because our main screen function is an empty right now, right? So let's first of all try adding this greeting generator text which we have. So what I will do is I will have a text element. Then obviously we type Android Studio gives us very nice autocomplete suggestions, and it will actually tell us like what properties these functions will take. So like we have our default text right here. So I will just hit enter, and now it is going to ask me, so what text do I want to show? So I will type greeting generator, and again I will hit build and refresh, and now it is going to say greeting generator. Now this is obviously very similar to what we had in this part right here. But uh, again, if I would maybe like add another text, right? So I just copy pasted this text line and I will have something like hello world. You will notice something is going to change, and that is that our two texts are now actually overlapping. So this is why we will need to spend some more time in designing a user interface and ensuring that these problems do not happen, because Android Studio is just going to render these elements as it is. We told it to have two texts, one saying greeting generator, one saying hello world, and it just added them by default. And since by default we did not specify like what placement it should follow, how it should be displayed, it just added them to the top left. That is like the 0, 0 position on our screen. Right. So in order to fix this part, so like let's say I want to have these two lines, one below the another. So what I'll do is like I will add a column here. So column is obviously where we have values one below the other. I will type column. I will hit enter. I will not pass any value for modifier or anything right now. I will just cut it from here and I will paste this text right here. So now if I will hit build and refresh for our view, we will be having our text one below the another, right? So column as a UI element is going to take in different fields and different UI elements inside it, and it would just render them out one below the other like a typical column as it works, right? So let's see what all fields we have. So we had a text. We already have one text in a field, one text in a UI, and we need to have two text fields. So for text fields, there is a class called outlined text field, and this takes a default value. So let's say I can have name, and there's an on value change is actually a function which would be called whenever the user is going to try to input any value or the value inside the text field is going to be modified, right? So let's just build a repo so we can see as to how it looks, and this is the text field as to in its default form. If I would run it on my emulator, you can see as okay. So I need to change the greeting part here so that it would call main screen and not the greetings composable. Now if I would run my app and we will see, yeah, now we are seeing like the name part. But one thing which if you're also doing it simultaneously, you will notice is that if you would try to type anything, it is not going to change. The text is not going to change, and that is because whenever we are going to type something, our on value change function is going to be called. But we have the function empty right now, so that means that nothing is going to happen. Like we don't know logic to handle the text or anything. We will do that soon, but this is something which you should know as to why things are not working, or like how Android actually takes care of the UI and everything. Right. So let me just add another text field right here. I will customize the values and I will show you how to do that in a while. But second would be greeting. And again, on value change, but as of right now, I will just have it as an empty function. Then we needed a button, so I will add the button class. Button class again has an on click function, which it would take, which is like actually marked as to do right now. And inside the button class, we can actually specify what do we need to show. So for example, if I just want to show some text, so I can have text and I will have text equal to generate greeting. Now, if I will hit build and refresh, I will see button. Yeah, right. So I have my two textures and I have the generate greetings button. Now, if you would notice, this like inside this button, this is saying like row scope. This actually means that the like the this center part of the field, this inside part of the button is actually a row. So I can have another text here saying something like click me. And now if I will hit build and refresh, this click me button will be placed next to the generate greeting button. So this is pretty great if you want to, have very customized buttons. You want to have some icons, you want to have maybe have some text, you want to have maybe some animation inside it. You can easily add whatever element you want inside this button, and it will, render it out as a row. So the elements would be one next to each other. For now, I will just remove the click me parts and that is not needed. I just have the generate greetings thing. And now we have the very basic part of our UI setup. I will also remove this hello world text since we do not need it. I will hit build and refresh again. And now we can actually start focusing on the logic part and as to especially regarding this name and greeting text box right here. So so what happens is that the text, whenever we are going to make use of an input field, the logic is that the text field, whatever text we are going to write here, is obviously going to change. It is obviously going to depend on the user as to whatever he or she would be inputting. And we cannot just hard code any values for the part so that because we obviously need to ensure as to handle how the changes are handled and everything, right? So in Kotlin, especially in Jetpack Compose, what we write is something like a var. So obviously, since the value would be changing, it is going to be a var. Let's have name text, which would be the variable, which the value the user would be inputting the name field, and this is going to be something like mutable state of a default value. So So here, by is actually a keyword in Kotlin that is going to make use of whatever we wrote after it, and it would like execute whatever we wrote after it, and it would save its value. It would save its instance in the variable which is specified. So by writing remember mutable state of, we are actually creating a variable wherein the value would can be changed, but the compiler will actually remember as to when is the value being changed, how is the value being changed, and what is the new value and everything. So internally, the Kotlin compiler would actually keep a track of this name text variable now, right? And this value which we provided is just a default value which we need to obviously specify. Now, mutable state of just defines that this values or this variable is changeable. It would be modified in future. So again, by writing something like var name text by remember mutable state of, we are essentially telling the Kotlin compiler to take note of this name text variable and its value since it would be changing in future, and that it needs to keep track of the changes that this value is going to have. Right. This is showing some red lines because we need to import some values. I will just hit Alt Enter and import whatever imports need to be done. So I have one variable for my name value. I will also make the same variable for my greetings part. Greeting text. I will have mutable state of, and I will have a default value. Same logic, same thing for name and greeting. Now I will actually make use of this name text and greeting text in our text field. So right here, value would be equal to name text, and this would be equal to greeting text. And inside, so now these text field will actually be reading our values from the name text variable and the greeting text variable. And inside on value change, what we will do is that we will update the values of these two parameters accordingly. So I will write name text equal to it, since it is the value which would be passed on, and this would be greeting text equal to it. Right. So let me just build and refresh. Right. So now it is empty since we have the default value as empty. But now if I will hit run, I can actually type in something like okay, hello, and the value is going to be changed because this is also simultaneously changing the values inside a name text and a greeting text variable. Right. So this was very simple to design and develop. Now let's make some small user interface changes. What I will do is I will modify my text field right here. So I will add something like, let's say, what can we do? So let's have modifier, or let's just change the size. So I have, oh, what else do I have to here? So I will have I can change the font size. Let's have this a bit big in size. That will be 24.sp. Then again, need to import some units. Then I can change the font weight. Font weight can be something like font weight or medium. If you want to have it like that, I will hit build and refresh. And this is going to obviously change how our text looks. Now, font weight, font size, these are all some values which the text class is going to take, and you can actually see what values or the things that the class can change by pressing Control P. It will show you as like it will take color, font style, font family, text unit, text decoration, line height, or a lot of different values it can take inside it. Right. So now let's just directly jump to the generate greeting button and handle the on click part. So what I will do right now is that let's just show a toast first of all. So I will write toast dot make text, and for the context it would be this. Then let's print whatever name is going to be entered. So I will write name text, and the toast length would be toast dot length. And this would be just a second context con, oh, okay. On 14. Why is it not taking the context? Okay, never mind. Let's just handle the button part. I will figure out why the context is not there for this view. So let's just then handle our navigation part, right? So navigation is something which needs to be done, and actually implementing it is going to be an exercise for you because that will actually have you go through the documentation, read through. It is pretty simple. I will share the sample code with you all, but that is something which if you would be doing all by yourself, it will help you in learning Android development. It will help you in learning Jetpack Compose, and it will also help you in learning the Kotlin fundamentals. So I will share all the links which are required with you all. But for now, let's just wrap it here because we are already running a bit delayed. So let's go back to our meet then. Yep. Hello. Right. So that was mostly it from my side as well. I will be sharing all the resources for implementing the navigation part, handling the UI changes and everything. Also, just to go through and like share some resources. Philip Lackner is actually a pretty great YouTube channel. He makes a lot of different tutorials for typical Android development. Then there's like Android development using Compose, using your maybe like the original XML and Kotlin part. So there are like a lot of different tutorials which are present here. Then there is another channel called Simplified Coding. This person also makes a lot of different Android tutorials. He has been making a lot of tutorials for a while now, and his tutorials are pretty great. But then again, if I would need to refer to something, I will obviously watch this Philip Lackner channel and then see if he has the material available or not. Then there is the Android developers channel, which keeps posting some news thing or whatever is going on in the Android development world. So this is also a channel which you can follow on your end. Then these are just some pages which is going to have the documentation for the Jetpack Compose library and related material for it. So I will be sharing all these things in the WhatsApp group itself. And that is mostly it then.
Okay, so wow, the session was incredible. I really hope that you guys learned a lot. And once again, thanks to our three musketeers who held these sessions with incredible enthusiasm. You can always reach out to us and the mentors through our socials. Thank you guys. If you have any doubt, put those in the chat section. And afterwards, hey, you can end the call. Thanks.
Okay, guys, thank you for joining the session. Take care. Bye bye.